We are in broadcasting. We
Good.
can start.
Okay, welcome, dear friends, dear colleagues from all over. Happy to see you again, even if it's not like getting together in Jamaica, where we should have been, but we'll have to do it like this time. Many of you know the Heritage Alive concept from before, and but there are also some newcomers here, so I will have to. So the old timers will have to bear with me that I will spend some time just for the introduction, and yeah, just to give you some insight to the concept. There are the Heritage Alive was established in Baku in 2012. That was when we first decided that we were to start our work. So it all started like a web-based online journal. And we had the target for the concept was to share experiences from the field, from the NGOs work in the field. Good experiences and bad experiences. And we want to look at methodology, meeting with and interaction with the communities, with the bearers and the practitioners. And it's not a presentation. We didn't want to do some kind of presentation of the elements themselves as on the representative list, but we wanted to share experiences and reflections from the NGOs and the experts in the field so that we could learn from each other and improve our important work. So then we established an editorial board, and in the editorial board there are members from all over the world, members recruited from the NGOs, and I'm very proud to say that we have members from all over. And we have active members also from all over, which is very important. We have now one in particular, in order to secure the accessibility for our publications, both online and on paper. We are doing our best to translate most of what we do, both in French and in English, so that we are bilingual publications. And we also do the proofreading, which sometimes could be a challenge, but we also something that we are dealing with in the board. There is a web page which I've shared the link for you now in the chat box, and the responsible now for the web page and for the online journal, that is Gabriele Desiderio, which is here today, and also Emily Drani. They are the main responsible board members for the website today and for the online journal. And we are currently discussing how we can develop this web page. And if you have any ideas or suggestions, we are very open to hear about that in the second part of this meeting, and where we will have an open floor for debate and discussion on this issue. Yeah, we also have the second thing we have done is that we also have in cooperation with ISHCAP, we saw that there was we should maybe concentrate our articles and our publication on particular issues that needed to be highlighted in particular, and that was when we decided to work to make a special issue on paper, and that was on the traditional medicine. Yeah, maybe you can see it. I'm showing it now in my screen. But we started with a publication in 2017 on traditional medicine, and there are contributions from NGOs and experts from all over the world. This was a fruitful cooperation with ISHCAP, the Category 2 Center for Asia and the Pacific, because they have a solid experience and competent staff led by Mr. Song Young Park, and I think they have been supporting this project in a wonderful way. So, and the second publication that we also made together with ISHCAP was on traditional food, and it was published in 2019 at the 14th COM in Colombia. And we decided in Colombia that we decided that the theme for the next publication on paper should be traditional musical instruments. So, and the work in the field with this theme and the experiences from the NGOs. So, and we were very strict about that. It should not be like presentations of different musical instruments. It should not be a sort of representative list light, but it should be articles where we shared our experiences as NGOs from the field, sharing reflections and methodology, and it should also highlight the role of the NGOs. That was crucial in the call. Nevertheless, we see that we have received 32 contributions, and many of these contributions has not really understood this concept, which has been challenging. So we have now roughly reviewed these 32 contributions, and there are 15 of them which can be, I mean, there are only room for 15 of them to be in the book, but we will look at possibilities for publishing the other ones on the website. It's limited space in the paper publications. This is a challenge, but it's also we had to stick to the guidelines in the call, which was that it should be about sharing experiences from the field, and it should highlight the role of the NGOs. So 15 articles has passed this criteria, and we are now currently working with them. 3 of them are in French, and we are, but we will have also summaries in English. The book is planned to be presented at the 16 COM. So we are all looking forward to that, and we will make a real nice publication of it. I think I think this article so far is looking very promising, and it has been very interesting and fun to work with this with the articles submitted so far. Yeah. So what I would like to challenge, where I would like to challenge you now, is that first, I would like to, I will ask you if there are possible topics that you could that you want to possible topics that we could have in the future that for possible publication for publications, forthcoming publications. And then the other topic would be how to develop our online publication, which the Heritage Alive online, because that is something that we are working on currently. And I'm very happy that Gabrielle is here, because I think there are possibilities that we haven't used. And I think there is a potential for the online publication of Heritage Alive that we haven't explored yet. So yes, these are the two topics that I really would like to have some feedback on. But if there are also questions that you have, feel free to ask. Thank you very much.
Eivind, since there are no interventions at the moment, I just want to say a few words.
Yeah.
Good morning to everyone. I'm Gabriele Desiderio, and I run the website, as he said, from Eivind said. There are a lot of possibility, of course, and we have to explore yet. And maybe we can create a dedicated newsletter with Heritage Live in order to spread, to make more known this wonderful journal. It's very exciting experiences. I met Eivind, he's a great director. So I think he did, with this team, did a very great project and have a big results, especially in cooperation with the South Korean second Each Cup, the second category center in South Korea. And this is very important for all the forum, I think. And so I'm at your disposal in order to discuss, maybe we can also fix in the next year a few moments, thanks to these virtual instruments. We can try to follow up better all the suggestions that will come from the discussion. So just these few words, and thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Gabriele. I think this is a great idea to have a newsletter, so it will incentivize the people to write for the online platform, not only the printed book, but if people receive in their own mailbox the advertising that new articles are online, then it would be very more proactive way to promote the articles and to call for the people to put articles there. So I think it's a great idea, Gabriele.
Thank you, Anton. And while you are there, you are also responsible for the French translation and the French part. Would you say something about that?
Well, I've been trying to. Oh.
You're welcome.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. I'm just want to tell that I was kind of responsible for the French text for the next book and the previous one, and it's always a challenge for in this case a minority language, because not everybody speaks French, and of course not everybody can read the text. So there's always the reflex that we see all around NGO Forum, which is kind of normal, but kind of not. that to put French always at the end, you know, and not take care a lot of this second official language. But I've been trying hard to convince people to write articles in French. I think it's important because a lot of people in the convention, in the NGO Forum, are using French as their main language, and sometimes their only language. So I'm pretty glad we have articles in French more and more, and I'm gonna to have more, even more in the future. And yeah, we are gonna translate, of course, just a little abstract in English, but we have very interesting French article, and learn French as I as I learned English and Spanish and other ones. Always a good thing to learn language. I know you know it because you all know a lot of languages. So thanks, Ivan.
Yeah.
Thanks for your work.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
Thank you very much. There was a question. There are some questions, but there are also Naila. You wanted to add something?
Yes, thank you, Eivind. First of all, let me to say that Heritage Alive is surely one of the major projects of the forum, so it's fantastic what you do. What I wanted to add is that it seems to me that actually Heritage Alive turned from being a journal to a book series, and I mean extensive books, collections, right? Edited books. So I don't know, whether maybe you could think of either, you know, making two parallel things or actually, you know, leaving the space of the journal aside, because it seems to me it's a little bit confusing because it's turned into serious book series actually, right? So this is maybe something that you can consider, like whether to change officially, you know. And I think these ideas to make it available on academia, edu, maybe on similar other similar sites, as well on UNESCO bibliography site, you know, that UNESCO opened this year, so it definitely should be there. And also to establish a kind of discussion space for about these articles on the forum website. Although Gabriela will know better, I think that it is actually already possible, you know, to comment on publications. So, but I don't know if people could be encouraged in some way to use this opportunity more. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to ask you to answer you, Naila, because it's true what you say. There has been more. We have been working more on the books now than on the online journal, and this is why we raise this theme now, and this is why we are in particular wanted to increase our work on the online journal. So, so this is also something that we are discussing in the board, and how we can develop the online journal, because we see that we need both. And I see that you raised the perspective on the academic, and it's also raised by others here. I can see in the chat on the academic side. I think it's good in some ways, but then it's also really important that not all the NGOs are have the academic approach, or do they have the academic resources. And I think it's important that we can. It's not an academic journal in that respect. Some of the articles are written by academics, but not all of them. And I think there is important. I think it's important that we can share experiences and reflections, also from non-academic NGOs and experts in the field, which are the most important. Is that this is the hands-on experiences, and I think it's that this is a good thing. So that is some of this challenge, which I guess will always be there. I think the newsletter idea is splendid. This is something that we should discuss, Gabriel. Yeah. Thank you for your input. Anka, you wanted to add something? No.
Maybe together with the newsletter, we could organize some kind of a online presentation, like a Zoom presentation, like each 3 months, each 6 months, you know, with the people who would put their articles on the online journal. So it would be more like active and incentive, and, you know, for the online part of Heritage Alive. So it would be not really hard to organize it, since it is a Zoom meeting, just like we did yesterday with the overall result framework. It's pretty interesting, and we can, you know, share and ask questions, and we don't need to be present at the same place. We don't need to wait a year. Maybe it would be interesting.
Yeah,
I can
Anka?
say that we will support with
you.
Zoom platform for everything that you want to do with Heritage Alive on a meeting, and we'll be broadcasting, and will be technical support of all your decisions.
Thank you. May I now?
Yes, Anka, go
I'd
ahead.
like to share our experience with you. You are talking about editions, books, and so on traditional culture. But my organization works on keeping heritage alive across festivals of folklore, including conferences, traditional food, traditional medicine, workshop, and so on. And after a few years such working, we are editing some books. Like you, there is one book about traditional customs and food linked to that customs across Bosnia and Herzegovina, and the other one just about traditional food in local community of Bosnia and Herzegovina. And also I told you about these works, masterworks of seminars of folklore. We do not understand the books as intangible cultural heritage, but just cultural heritage books are just a tool to keep or to revitalize some of customs if they gone. That is how we organize our organization in Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Anka. There has been, I seen in the chat, I read that there are people who are willing to join our board and are interested in joining our board, which are not here today, and that's a very good thing. We are open to include also newcomers in the board, and I think that's a very important principle. So what I will do is that I will write down my email address, and if you want to be a part of the board, you can join by sending me an email. Is that okay? That was from Rihaf Gassa from Saudi Heritage Preservation Society. Is that okay?
Yes, that's great. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yes. Are there other issues that you would like to raise? Other ideas for developing our Heritage Alive website? Should we, for example, use video? Should we do more interactive stuff? Do you think that the articles that is not going to be published now in the book because it's not enough space? Do you think we should just publish them online? I think that would be a good idea. So I would like to hear your opinion. Yes. Eni from Indonesia, you are now in my, yeah, okay. No. Anton?
As for publishing on the online journal, the articles that do not meet the criteria for the print book, I'm not sure I would put them online. Maybe if they meet the criteria and for some reason they're not in the book, maybe yes. But if not, if they're not in the book because they're not correctly on the subject, or they're not talking about NGO experience or not about safeguarding, which there was several ones, I won't put that online because it would establish like a second category, you know, and the online journal, I think we should keep it as a first category too, as well as the book, first category articles.
Yes. Anyone else? Ananya, Albert? We have some old timers here.
Unmute,
Albert, you have to
unmute, yes, unmute, yes. So I agree with Antoine, I think, and of course also with Gabriele. Great ideas of thinking about how to promote all these articles, and not just by issuing books, but also by this newsletter and with the website. Yes, I was thinking of something else, you know, because you raised two topics, and the other topic is, of course, about what kind of themes might be interesting for the future. I don't know if that's now the time for it to present some of my ideas, perhaps, or
yes.
Okay, because well, I like the idea of having these book publications on specific themes, and when you will be when you think about the future, I think you have to keep in mind, okay, what have we done, and what is left, and then have a look at perhaps the different domains of this convention, and then cover perhaps a domain which was not covered as yet. And I was thinking myself about, okay, we have this traditional music, traditional food, music, medicine. Perhaps we can do something with festivals or festivities. So it's a different type of intangible heritage, perhaps also with different challenges. So this could be an idea perhaps for a future publication. You could also perhaps narrow it down a bit to festive events in connection with religious traditions, perhaps even. So there are a lot of pilgrimages on in the UNESCO list, the UNESCO representative list. So this could also be an option. So, but I would make an argument for so these big festive events linked to intangible heritage as a specific and important aspect of intangible heritage with specific challenges also. perhaps also even in connection with tourism, perhaps.
Mm.
Is that an idea?
Yes.
And I
Sounds-
think it's shared worldwide. So there are festive events everywhere in all continents. So it should be. This is of course another aspect which you should take into consideration. That it's not. It shouldn't be narrowed down to one continent, but it should be interesting for all continents, for all regions, as UNESCO calls these continents. And I think this is an interesting topic for all continents, for all regions, and for all continents.
Mm. Then we have also a contribution from Marit Stranden, who are suggesting sustainable development. Examples across domains where ICH contribute to sustainable development goals. And I think that is also, this is like we could also talk about, we could talk about like we could have some more overall perspective other than some concrete elements. So it's a different perspective, but it's a good idea. Ananya, you would like to speak? I would like to give you the floor.
You know, when we started Heritage Alive, we had this system of having 2-3 topics and people contributing to online articles. And then, but this year, you know, there were many contributions on traditional music, but we did not publish them online, perhaps because we are saving them for the book. And then we didn't have the other contributions. I think we should keep it going. I mean, otherwise in the whole year, there's nothing's presented online. I think we should continue that. Like we have 2-3 topics on which people contribute, which we followed in the earlier years. But this pressure of the book is a pressure, I agree. But what do you think about it? I mean, why did we stop? And why are we not sharing these music articles online? That's also my question. I mean, those which are not being selected for the book, they can be shared if there is any obligation that, you know, articles cannot be shared for publication. So I'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, I think Anton raised that question earlier. First, I agree with you. We should really improve the work on the online and improve our efforts on the online part of the journal. I think that is really important, and this is also one of the main topic for this meeting. What can we do, and how can we improve the online journal? Because we see that now, after we started with the books, a lot of the focus also for the contributors has. I mean, it has changed. So this is, and it can also be a challenge to communicate. I think we need also to communicate that we are open for different topics and sharing different experiences from the field online. And then for the book, and it's true as you say, we have received more than 30 contributions, but then we see that some of these contributions, or 15 of them, are okay. They are fulfilling the criteria. They are both from sharing NGOs experiences from the field and reflecting over the work from the NGOs, and they are also about safeguarding and how we are working in our contact with the communities and with the bearers. Many of the other articles are sort of representative list light, where they are presenting an element which is not so relevant. It's not relevant according to the call. So I think this is an important. That's why I raised this question earlier, and I think Anton gave a clear answer. I think, and his view was that it was not I mean, it's another bag. It's another. It's not within our. It's not sharing experiences from the field, and it's not sharing the NGO's experiences from the field. It's more like an representative list light, which is not so interesting for us. So this is why we are holding back this to publish these articles online. Was that clear answer, Ananya? Anton?
Yes.
Anton?
Ananya just raised a question or an idea in the chat, so we could divide the editorial team, one for the book, one for online. That was the idea last year, actually.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Emily is here or if she's willing to follow up on the online journal, because that was the idea, not necessarily two complete distinct teams, but different responsibles, one for the book and one for or people for the book and people for the online journal. That's a good idea, Ananya. What do you where are we with that, Ivan?
No, it's true. It's true. I don't. It was. We decided at our last board meeting at the 14th COM that we would. There should be two editors-in-chief. There would be Emily who would be responsible for the online journal, taking over for me, and I would continue to be responsible for the publication on paper. So that was in order to spread the responsibility and the work load. So this is how it is. Yeah, we're going to have, now I know that Emily, I heard from Emily, she has been very busy and it has been very difficult times in her NGO. So I thought actually she was going to join the meeting, but she doesn't appear to be here. So it's, yeah, I would really, this is why, yeah, we are, but Gabrielle is here, and I mean, we are open for views, but it's an important question that you raise, Ananya. But this is how we choose to do it, and then Anton is the editor for the French for the French part. So we split it into 3 different responsible persons.
Ivan,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not muted. I think you can hear me. I hope.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because of the suggestions made in the chat, and some of I wanted to raise the issue once again of what kind of topics I'd like to address, and there were ideas or suggestions in connection with sustainable development. Tourism was mentioned, I think, but what I would like to suggest is this. Until now, of course, you can have different approaches towards what is interesting, of course, and you can have the approach, the thematic approach, so focusing on tourism, focusing on sustainable development, or you can have the approach focusing on the intangible heritage domains, so focusing on medicine, traditional medicine, focusing on festive events, focusing on traditional food, etc. And where Heritage Alive makes the difference is, I think, in this second approach. So I would strongly encourage following this approach also for the future. And if you put it, so I'm of course the coordinator of the working group research. There we have a different approach. There our approach is much more this thematic approach. So this conference about tourism, and perhaps in the future about sustainable development. So I think both approaches are worthwhile and need to be addressed. but perhaps the one approach is the strong point of Heritage Alive. So the approach towards the domains, etc., etc., and the other approach is more perhaps in line with the working group research. So, do you understand what I mean? So I think it would be nice to have, well, to stick to where you are good at, and I think Heritage Alive has a profile in connection with the different domains, and the working group on research more a thematic approach, focusing on tourism, etc., etc. I think both approaches are needed, and both approaches are now covered by different working groups, perhaps. So I get a bit. So I see that Kaloyan is still sharing screens, but I get well, it's a bit. Perhaps he can stop sharing screens, because I just see flapping these pages around, etc., etc. So that we just see each other. I mean, is that possible, Kaloyan? Yes, yes, like this. It makes me a bit unrestful, you know, and.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I think it's Albert. I think it's. I agree with you. I think we should continue this the way we have done it with concrete themes. And to Anania's suggestion, where it's suggested that we can divide the editorial team. Yeah, this is actually what we did decide last year. So we tried that, and hopefully it will work. Yeah. So
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Can I do it?
Yes.
I'm thinking about you are talking, and I will not offer answers, but the questions. We are talking about edition, online edition, and so on, and we have to think about that intangible cultural heritage is property of the state of the region where it is from, and other about the copyrights also. So I will talk you about my experience on that. We are about the project of digitalization of intangible cultural heritage, and one part of that project is about traditional music instruments. We organize one line to present them. You can see at I will send you the link where you can see it, and people, young people, work in the ground, collecting the data about traditional instruments, how people make them, and how they play them, and record the photo of one of them, and record the music and put it on the QR code so you can hear it, and a short text in Croatian and in English also at the one page. After that page, you can see just pages now, but after that page, there are linked all from all the researchers who talked about that instrument, about how many people in the air are playing that instrument now, and we will change the data in a year also. But it includes too much people in the ground to work together, and we have a very strong network in my country. I suppose you can think about that example and support this project to become one international, because it respects copyrights and the main introduction from ICH convention, I suppose.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anka. And I think there has been some while you have been talking, we had some input on the chat, which we will take with us. I think there is because there are the need for example, for sustainability and the sustainability goals that should be highlighted. I mean, we could encourage, even if it's not a theme for the articles, we could encourage the authors to highlight this perspective if possible and if relevant in the article. I think that is a good idea. And I see both Marit and Linda and several others are pointing at this, and I think that could be that is a very good suggestion. We could find a way to handle it that is yeah, that is good. That could be done, is feasible. Now I see that our time is running out. So if any of you which is not a part of the board today, want to join the board, I will, you just send me an email. I have written my email in the chat, so you can look it up. And I think it's also somewhere in the papers and the invitation for today. So you can send me an email, and I will include you. And then we will have then we can also, I want us to continue this discussion in the board. And I think there has been some really interesting views. We have to discuss how to continue, if we should separate, how much it should be separate, the work in the online Heritage Live and the paper publications, and if it should be separated, and how we will continue this work, because I am not sure what would be the best way to do it, and I think this is also something that we need to discuss in the board. So for now, I think the time is out, and I want you to have I wish you a wonderful meeting today, and enjoy the rest of the 15Com. And if there is anyone who wants to get in touch with us or me on email or Zoom or some other platform, you are more than welcome to do that. Okay, so thank you very much, and I wish you a wonderful 15Com. Thank you very much. There was just Anton who wanted to say something in the end before we wrap it up. Anton?
I was just clapping to say thank you and
Okay.
ciao to everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care. Good to see you all.
Okay. Thank you, Eivind.
Thank you. Good to see you.